It's certain books that I pick up as a mood reader where I'm reading it and I just know, listen, you can't be out in these streets. You can't be dibbling and dabbling in all these different books and think you about to come home to this book right here. You cannot do it. Can I just say that there are so many books this year that I just really could not get to? But we're going to change that in 2025. I've never done this before, but I think that it is important that I do it this time. We're going to get into the books that I am prioritizing in 2025. So being that we have 25 books to go through, I'm not going to be giving a long synopsis. I'm going to be telling y'all just the gist of it, okay? So I had to pick them up just to make it easier for myself. Okay, now it may appear as if I have separated them out by paperbacks and hardcovers, because I don't like it when paperbacks and hardcovers is mixed when you're doing like a book stack on the floor. Thank me later, because when the mix don't mix right, you're gonna have a problem on your hand. All right, so first up is definitely going to be The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin. I loved the 5th season, and I read the 5th season years ago. I slightly understand why I didn't pick up book 2, and I'm gonna tell y'all. Even though I really enjoyed the 5th season, it was one of the hardest fantasy books that I've ever read. N.K. Jemisin's writing in that book is just next level. When I tell you, I had to read that book very slowly so I could make sure I pay attention to things and pick up any Easter eggs that are going to pop up later on in the book. And because it had taken so much out of me, I was very nervous about picking up book 2. But now I think I'm ready. I really think I'm ready. There's been way too much time has passed. I might even need a refresher for book 1 before I go into this one. But I think I'm ready this time, because I really want to finish this series in 2025 for sure. Okay, and next we have The Long Song by Andrea Levy. This is a Black British author. I believe she's also, she is Jamaican. Her ancestry is Jamaican. I did a video a few months back about Black British authors, and I definitely realize how many books of Andrea Levy's I actually own, which are a lot. I think I own at least maybe 5 at this point. So I would say if I own at least 5 books of an author, I should definitely be picking up one of them to see if this is an author that, you know, that I will enjoy, and that'll let me know if I want to get to the rest, if I want to continue collecting, because I don't even think that's all her books. So I know that this is a Black historical fiction, so I actually started a little bit of it a few months back, and I just got distracted with something else. It wasn't, you know, going bad or anything. I didn't even get far. Maybe 5%. But I was interested. But you know, this is the story of my life. This was also shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize in 2010. Alright, so the next one is definitely going to be Jubilee by Margaret Walker. And this is a book that I got from Book Outlet a few months back. I do want to make it a point to read a good amount of those Book Outlet books. Like, I just feel like I have to. I don't want to place another Book Outlet order until I read down some of the ones that you know, that I already purchased, because I'm just not collecting books out here, you know. And then you will see that this entire list is only books that I physically own, because I want to start moving some things around. And you know, I shared this with you guys before, is that ultimately, I want the books that I've already read in this library, I want it to just be favorites. If it ain't a favorite, it gotta go. I read it, it's done, you know, it happened. You know, we don't have to look at each other again. You know, it's done. It's done. So I definitely want to get to this one. This is one of the books that I was saying that I wanted to read in my Black Classics video. And a lot of y'all have said that you think I would enjoy it. So, yeah. And I like how thick it is. This is another one that has been on my radar for a long time. And it's so short. I don't know why I haven't. At Night All Blood is Black by David Diop. And this was the 2021 International Booker Prize winner. This is also translated fiction. I'll tell you what language it's translated from in a second. I think French. Yep. This is translated from the French language. This is a Senegalese author. So this is one of 2 books by David Diop that I own. So I would really like to get into this one because it's so short and the reviews on it is so good. And I love this cover. Like, get into this cover. I love it. I love it. Okay. And one of the most intimidating books on this list is definitely going to be 2666 by Roberto Bolaño. I've always wanted to read a Bolaño. I do have his other book, The Savage Detectives, and a lot of people say that you should start with 2666 and then make your way to his other books. So listen, I'm following what the people is saying. I'm following what his fans are saying, and you know, it's just so thick. It's just so thick. And I purchased this year, and I was just thinking, I just want to make sure it's in my library so that, you know, when I'm ready to pick it up, it's just right here, you know. Oh my God, and it's heavy too. And it's heavy. This is another translated fiction. So Roberto Bolaño was born in Chile. Let me see. Translated from Spanish. Okay, so this was originally written in Spanish, and now it's in English, so us American folk can read it. Okay, so yes, I'm looking forward to that one. This is another one that I slightly began a few months back by audio, and I was enjoying it, and then I just again got distracted by something else, and that's going to be Blessings by Chikwabuka Ibi. And I promise next time I speak about this book, I am going to research how to actually say this author's name. Yeah, and this is held as Moonlight Meets Purple Hibiscus, in a gay coming of age novel. And like I said, when I started it, I was very much interested. I really, really was. And then, you know how these things go. But that one has gotten nothing but the highest praise. So I love that, you know. It definitely makes me want to pick it up much faster. Especially being that I already started it. So it's not like I have to go so far back. Okay, and another one, Who Fears Death by Nnedi Okorafor. First of all, I love this cover. And maybe a month or 2 back, I read The Book of Phoenix, which is the prequel to Who Fears Death. And people have been reading Who Fears Death for years and saying how it's so good. This cover is actually not the original cover. It was re-released. And yeah, I really enjoyed The Book of Phoenix. So I was just thinking, you know what? Now is my time to pick up Who Fears Death. And yeah, I definitely want to get to it. It's African futurism. Another one that I have been wanting to pick up for the last couple years actually is The Mountains Sing by Nguyen Fan Ki Mai. And I know that this is a multi-generational family saga, which is some of my favorite type of books to read. And I think that over time, once you start to realize certain things that you really love to see in books, you just need to just gravitate towards those books. You know, the chances of you actually liking those types of books is going to be pretty high. Just off of knowing that you really love this thing in these books. So, just one thing to just pay attention to. I really believe that 95% of the books in this list will be 5 stars. So you could take this as a 5-star prediction type of video as well. But yeah, I have a really good feeling about these. These aren't just books that, I'm interested in, because I'm interested in all of these. That's why they're here. That's why they got a spot on the shelf. I'm interested in all of them, you know. But these I got a really good feeling about. And you know, I got my girl Ann Petrie on here. You already know. The Narrows. You might be saying, Key, I thought you started this book already. I did start this book. And I had every intention on finishing out my year by reading this book. I did read, I want to say, at least 10% of it. But this, I feel like what Ann Petrie's writing, you really need to, because I read multiple books at the same time. And I feel like this book requires my full attention. It's certain books that I pick up as a mood reader where I'm reading it and I just know, listen, you can't be out in these streets. You can't be dibbling and dabbling in all these different books and think you about to come home to this book right here. You cannot do it. You must fully focus on certain books. And I think that this is one of them. So I stopped reading it to finish out what it was that I was reading at the time. I don't remember what it was. And I'm sure they didn't even match up to the brilliance that's in this book right here. So I have a few more books that I want to finish out for the year. And I think I might start my 2025 with this one. I really, really do. I would love for them to come out of nowhere like, we found this story that Ann Petrie wrote. It's never been published. You know how the publishers be coming with those out of nowhere. I would love for that to happen. I would love that. You know, come with somebody dig something up. Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. This is another author that I spoke about in the Black British author video. And I have been very much wanting to read her work. I've been very much wanting to read this specifically. This is the book that won the Booker Prize in 2019. And I know that they said that like 2 people won it, but baby, no. No. This the one that won, okay? We know what happened with the other one and why that was also sat next to this. And we don't acknowledge that other book. I'm sorry. I can't do it, right? This is the winner, okay? And I really want to get to this. It feels like it might give me the Women of Brewster Place. It feels like it also might give me vibes of On Black Sister Street by Chika Unigwe. I've become a fan of books like that, where it's multiple Black women characters and they all have different things going on in their lives. And I've just become such a big fan of books like that. And I like recommending books like that to y'all because I feel like y'all like it too. And another book that I did not finish this year, and I know y'all gonna be screaming at the screen. I know. This is almost embarrassing. Almost. Jazz by Toni Morrison. This is another one that I had started reading. Well, I was listening on audiobook. The audiobook, she narrates it. It's fantastic. I love it when she narrates her own books because it just always adds to the story. Her pauses, the way she says something, it always just makes you feel like she's being very intentional about how she wants her work presented and how she wants it read out loud. And I love that, you know. But I think that when I go back to this book, I want to read it again from the very beginning. And I want to listen and I want to read. I don't want to just listen. I want to read her words and I want to hear her read her words as well. And I love this cover. I got this copy when I was in Thailand and I couldn't leave it. I could not leave it. And I have a really good feeling about that book, of course, because this one is Tony, and two, I was really enjoying what I had already read at that point. So yeah, I think it's gonna be good. Another one, switching gears for a second to a fantasy, The Final Strife by Sarah L. Arifi. Yes, I'm holding up the paperback while the hardcover is behind me, because I have both the paperback versions and I also have the hardcover versions. So, you know, I really need to love this book. No, they actually were both gifted to me, both sets. So I was like, of course, give me both. Because the covers eat. Both sets of covers I love. So, you know, if I love it, then I'll just keep them both, you know. And then this is going to be easy for me to bring around and actually, you know, read, as opposed to this really thick hardcover behind me. So yeah, this is a black fantasy. I don't really know the details of this one. I know she also came out with Faybound this year, but I love that this series is complete, as far as I know. Anyway, this is a trilogy. And the last book in this series came out, I think, a month or two ago, called The Ending Fire, which I don't have, actually. I don't have The Ending Fire. So, I am more so interested in reading this one and starting this series because I know it's complete. Whereas the Faybound one has a book 2 coming out in 2025. So, I'm not trying to get into that. And then I gotta wait. And I don't know if the book 2 is going to be the last book in the series. So, yeah, I'm just going to go with a short thing here, right? Okay. Oh! Almost forgot this was here. Windward Heights by Miss Kandi. First of all, R.I.P. to Miss Kandi, who passed away this year. And she's another author where I own multiple books of hers, but I have read one and I enjoyed it. I Tituba, Black Witch of Salem by her. I really enjoyed that book. And one thing that I realized from reading that is that she's a really good storyteller. This one is a retelling of Wuthering Heights, and I hated Wuthering Heights. I hated it a lot. So I'm actually very interested to see what is her spin on it. Obviously there's going to be some black folks in here, so I'm already interested, you know. This is another translated fiction. She primarily writes in French, and her husband is the one who translates for her, which I just think that that's so dope. You know, keep the money in the family. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I'm excited. I've had this copy for way too long. I've had this copy for at least, I want to say like 2 years. I've had this copy sitting on my shelf. So, you know, it's time. It's definitely time. Okay, another book that has been on my shelf for a long while. Oh my God, my arm is hurting from holding those books. Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. I feel like this is a book that I just have to read. It's required reading. As a black person, I just need to read it. You know, like how when you're a black person, it's just certain books that, like, they just feel like you should read these. Just, not even to say like, oh, you're gonna love it, but just like, you should just read them. Like, it's just certain Black books that's just like that. And I feel like this is one of them. I'm looking forward to seeing what is going to be my takeaway from it. I know it has a lot to do about identity and race, and yeah. I mean, that seems to be the theme in a lot of books that I tend to pick up. So yeah, I'm interested. This is another book that was in my Black Classics video. Okay, so now we're gonna get to the hardcovers. We're gonna get to the hardcovers now. Okay. This might be the only nonfiction on here. I had more nonfiction actually, but I wanted to just keep it to 25. And it was really hard. I'm not going to hold you. Like, it was really hard keeping this 25 here. But I had to remind myself, I'm allowed to read other books that are not in this 25. It could just be books that I just want to read. I just want to pick up. But these are the ones, again, I am very much prioritizing throughout this year. I'm going to keep coming back to this video to say, okay, did I read this? Did I read this? Did I at least give this book a fair shot? That's all I'm saying. I ain't even saying I'm going to finish all of these because, I might get to a point where I got to DNF it, We're not forcing books this year, in any year, okay? Master, Slave, Husband, Wife by Ilion Wu. This is a book that I have wanted to read since it came out. And I've had this cover long enough to have read it. So, yes. I definitely want to get into this one. This is the true story of a husband and wife, both slaves. The husband and wife portray themselves as a white man with his slave. The wife actually dresses up as a white man and they travel to freedom that way. Looking forward to reading this book very much. I mean, it is a true story. It's just so intriguing. I really just need to buckle down and just get it done. That's it. Just get it done. Alright, so the next one. This book, I've always wanted to read this book because I've had this on my shelf for a while, which is the story of my life. But this was in the top 5 of the New York Times 100 best books of the century, and when I seen that, I was like, I have to prioritize this. And this is The Known World by Edward P. Jones. This has to do with a black man who owns slaves. So I just really feel like this is gonna be good. This is I have very high hopes for this one. Okay, so next up we have Hours by Philip B. Williams. This is another chunker. This book used to sit right behind me, and I've had multiple people comment on in different videos saying, did you read that yet? Are you gonna read that? The answer is yes. Yes, I am. Okay, I did give it a little bit of a taste test earlier this year. But not enough. Not enough. I'm going to buckle down and get into this one so I can really give y'all a full, like my full thoughts on it. I do also have the audio which is going to hopefully help me chop it down a little bit. Yep. So, and when I go back into it, I am probably gonna do some immersive reading for this one as well. Just to kind of, because I've never read from this author before. I think this is this author's debut book. You know, when I'm reading an author that I've never read before, I want to fully get what they're trying to give us, you know. So the audiobook should definitely help with that. Another book that was making a lot of waves is Hello Beautiful by Ann Napolitano. People have said that this book has broken them. And I like the sound of that. I like the sound of books that be breaking people. Because, yes, break me too, my love. Break me too. I'm not going to be shying away from the books that people are saying, oh, this destroyed me. This had me crying. And blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I want that for myself. Okay, Blood Over Brighthaven by Emma Wong. This is a book, if you will remember, I was super excited to unbox this a few months back. Look at the red sprayed edges. I mean, it's just gorgeous, you know. I did do a little taste test with this one as well, but I need to go back to it. I was listening to it on audio and I was distracted. I can admit that. I was completely distracted. This book has gotten nothing but 5-star reads. This is a like a fantasy, dark academia type of novel, and I want to give it the attention that it deserves. So this is another one I'm going to put down for some immersive reading, at least until I get the gist of the story. You know, sometimes you need both at the same time when you first get into a story, so you could fully get like what's happening. You know, it's a lot happening at the very beginning of this book, and I don't want to miss out on, you know, any Easter eggs. Another one that I really wanted to get to, but I didn't. There Are Rivers in the Sky by Elif Shafak. I have been wanting to read one of her books for a while. I have another one of hers over here, which is 10 minutes, 38 seconds. I have that over there. But this is her latest. This one came out in August. So I want to make sure that I get to this one. This has also made it to a few people's top reads of the year, which definitely intrigues me, because if a lot of people are saying it's at the top of their list, that means this is something that I need to be picking up. And this is another book that I had to jump through some hoops to get, because you can't even get this in the US. The Dance of Shadows by Rogba Payne. And I want to thank the subscriber. I'm going to try to figure out the person's name that recommended this to me, and I will put it somewhere. But shout out to you for telling me about this book. I finally have it in my possession. I'm very much looking forward to it. This is African inspired fantasy, and that's typically all I need to know. This cover, just look. I love this cover. It has me very intrigued. Okay. The only thing is there's no audiobook for this. I gotta read this whole thing with my eyes. Look, y'all. I gotta read the whole thing with my eyes. And I can't just be carrying this around. So it has, you know, that's kind of why this one has gotten kind of pushed to the back burner a little bit this year. But we're going to make it happen. We're going to do what we have to do. I don't care if I have to bring a bigger bag to work to accommodate the size of this. I will. Because if it's a good story, it's worth it. Or, you know what I could do? Or I could just read it, you know, in the evening. I don't need to watch a bunch of TV shows. I could just read this. That's what I could do. Okay, another one that I got in the summer and I wanted to read was Daydream in Gold by Mai Sinar. And yeah, this has gotten really good reviews. This was like a kind of like a quiet release. At first I didn't see a lot of people talking about it, and then I started seeing a few people talking about it, and then it was like, oh, this book is great, this book is, you know, and it's giving hidden gem for me. It really is. It really is. And it was so cute that the publisher sent me these sunglasses. So I really want to read it so that I can take a picture with the book and the sunglasses, because I just feel like it's going to be cute. You know, it's just going to be cute. This one talks about motherhood, and it also talks about adventure. So it's telling me that the main character is going to be moving from place to place, and those are things that I really love in books. You're talking about motherhood, you going from place to place. These are things that I love. It's really speaking my language. So yes, I definitely want to get to that one. And I know y'all going to scream when y'all see this one, because I have been talking about reading this book literally all year. All freaking year. The Covenant of Water by Abraham Verghese. All year. I've been trying to read this book. I started it a little bit, but not enough. Not enough. In the beginning that I started on audio, I was like, oof, I need to focus. I need to focus on this one. So this is another one where it's going to be requiring my focus. I think what's going to happen with my reading this year, I might not be able to be like a poly reader like that for certain books. I don't think I am, because certain books is just going to be pulling my full attention, and I just gotta let it have it, you know. I'll get up with the rest of these books later, but if it's worth it, I gotta make time, you know. Okay. Brotherless Night by B.V. Ganashantan. This is a book that I was interested in when I first heard about it, and then it was shortlisted for, what was it? I think it was shortlisted for the Booker Prize last year. I think it was. And then I really got interested, because I was like, oh, other people talking about this book and saying that it's, you know, it must be highly acclaimed if it's, you know, part of a short list. And then it's also blurred by Britt Bennett, and it says I couldn't put this book down. And usually I don't pay attention that much to blurbs by authors, because sometimes I don't think that they be telling the truth. But what she's saying is very important. She's not just saying brilliant, mesmerizing, electric, right? I don't pay attention to those. I couldn't put this book down. You gotta pay attention to what they actually saying. And I just really don't feel like Britt Bennett would say that if she ain't read this book. You know, call me gullible, but I just don't think that she would say that specifically if she didn't read this book. So, yes, I'm going to read that. And then the last one. This is another book that was shortlisted, I think, for the same prize. Could it be the Booker? I don't know, but Martyr by Keva Akbar. Yes, this is a book that has been, a lot of people have been talking about this book. This book made a lot of end of the year lists, and I just want to know. I just want to know what is. Oh, and they also gave me the little magazine that I guess is somehow discussed in this book. So I've just kind of kept it inside so that I could look at it when I finish reading it. But yes, I'm very much looking forward to that. I think that book is going to be very different than anything that I typically read, and I'm looking forward to that. You know, I'm looking forward to a lot of things in 2025, honestly, which I will share with y'all in another video, just kind of like channel goals and reading goals and all of those things like that. But yeah, this is it, y'all. This 25 is it. This is my start in 25. Well, no, that's a lie. It's not my start in 25. I'm not saying I'm starting off the year with these 25 and then no, I'm not saying that, because this doesn't include all the books that are coming out in 2025 that I personally want to read, other books that I want to go back to and finish reading. That's a whole nother list, okay? But these right here, these are the ones that I have seen and I've been checking out for some time, and I want to make sure that I get it done. Okay, so that is going to be it for this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye.